I just got back from my weekly shopping trip to Whole Paycheck. Hey, how'd these get in here? Plums? There's not food in here. It's full of cameras. And today we're gonna go through and check all these cameras out, see if they're working. I'm sure there'll be some broken ones, but hopefully most of them are working. I think I got 17 or 18 cameras in here. Let's start with this one, Canon Rebel T5. Not really generally available in the United States in this red color. It was more mass produced actually in Canada from what I've seen than the United States. So all you Canucks out there, maybe you've seen this red guy. APS-C size sensor. And it's in really, really nice shape. Glass looks great. Body also looks quite nice as well. Probably pretty low shutter count. Normally, if you're looking at a body and there's dings and heavy scuffs and potentially issues with the LCD, it's probably got a pretty high shutter count. In this case, it looks great. Canon LPE10, and I buy and sell cameras for a living. So I've got almost every mass-produced battery that was made by Canon, Nikon, and Sony. I keep them all stored and ready to go in case I need them. We've got power. I had a feeling this one was going to work. Wow, that looks really clean. Focus is working well. Flash just popped and flash just fired. That looks great. This is such a fun kit to shoot with. In the US market, you're looking at a price of the body of the Rebel T5 of around $125. And this lens in great shape sells for about $75 to $85. I'm gonna go ahead and take this outside and actually let's get a few pictures taken with it, see how she looks. This lens paired with this camera is gonna give you an equivalent optical range in the mid 60 millimeter range. So it's pretty good for portraits. It does create some good bokeh around the edges whenever you take pictures. I love shooting with the Canon STM lenses because they're really fast, and if you ever shoot video, they're extremely quick to focus as well. Next up, we've got a Canon Rebel XS DSLR camera. This camera was released quite a few years before that Rebel T5, 10 megapixel camera, and you can see there is something bad going on with this lens. It's not so much a lens, it's more like half a lens. It looks like somehow the front element was torqued off. It should be right here in the very front, and there's nothing. So if you were to try to take a picture with this broken lens, it'd probably be super blurry. But that's okay. Let's go ahead and take that off. We have that other lens we can test with and see if the body itself is working. It's a great first student DSLR camera, an introduction to photography camera. And as always, if you pair it with good glass and you're in the right environment, you can get some cool pictures out of it. So let's find a battery for this. It uses a Canon LPE5 battery, very common battery, also used with the Canon Rebel T1i and the Canon Rebel XSI. One of the things that I've noticed with the Canon Rebels is you got to make sure that battery is situated in there and fully snug against the contact point. Sometimes you have to do it a couple times to make sure the power turns on. We've got power. Most of the time this camera is going to power on. It's just a question of whether we've got any dead pixels or related issues with sensor or anything of the like. So let's grab that lens we were just using and see if this works. Grab a 50 millimeter. Flash pops up. Flash fires. Looks pretty good. We got a memory card in there too. 32 megabyte. That is a tiny card. It says it holds 4 pictures. So maybe each one is about 8 megs. So we've got a camera that takes pictures. This lens, let me show you. I'll put it back on and you'll see what the picture looks like. Can't imagine it's gonna be anything good. We'll flip it to manual. Ta-da! So really not much going on there. So this lens, 4 parts, not much value. The body itself is gonna have a value of about 50 bucks. So paired with the kit lens that it normally comes with, probably somewhere around 100 bucks. So fortunately, this is working, and it's ready to go to find a new home. And if you're new here, I mainly sell on websites like eBay, also do a little bit of local sales. I've been selling on eBay for 22 years. It's crazy. I started selling fishing stuff and then moved on through various categories, and now I sell mostly cameras and camera gear. I've sold over 40,000 cameras in that time, most in the last 8 or so years. Ooh, yeah, I remember picking this guy up. This is really cool. Got some condition issues. We've got an Olympus EPL1, which was one of the first mirrorless cameras that Olympus made. Really pretty hefty camera. You can see that black rubber grip is missing, but it's got a neat 17mm pancake lens on here. This is a cool street photography kit. I worked for an electronics retailer when this camera was released, and I worked with Olympus to bring this one to market. See how everything's looking before we throw a battery in there. Yeah, sensor looks good. Quite clean. The body, I mean, it looks really great, other than the grip. LCD will get that cleaned off a little bit. The normal lens on here, I believe, is the 14-42. She's got a nifty little 17 here. It's got a built-in flash right there as well. And let's find a battery. This is going to use the BLS1 or BLS5 battery. There's a lot of aftermarket batteries available currently, because a lot of the times what you see with age is these batteries get swole. They'll get really, really swollen on the edges, and sometimes they'll get stuck in the camera and they won't even work. So fortunately, there's brands like K-Star and a few others that make aftermarket batteries that are readily available in the US marketplace and in Europe and Canada. Okay, we've got power. Let's flip to the menu here. Yeah, that looks good. That front grip is really sticky. My fingers are quite sticky and tacky. I've got some Gooby Gone material that I'll use on this to get that off. If I had a broken EPL1, it wouldn't be too hard to replace the grip, but unfortunately I don't have one. So maybe the new owner of this, whenever I get it to its new owner, would be able to fix the grip if they so chose, but it looks to be in really nice shape other than that. So let's go ahead and take a couple pictures, make sure the flash is working. So on this crop sensor, the 17mm is going to be equivalent focal length of about 28-30, somewhere in that range. Looks like autofocus is working. Let's pop that flash. No viewfinder here, but it has a hot shoe mount up here, and I believe you can attach an accessory electronic viewfinder right here. Let's take it. Really delightful little camera to shoot with. Also, this lens will pair with any Micro Four Thirds camera. So that's a really nifty thing about Micro Four Thirds, is because not only Olympus and Panasonic and a number of other brands make Micro Four Thirds, you can split these lenses and use them on any Micro Four Thirds compatible body. Really cool. In terms of value, this kit is going to be worth, even in its current condition with that grip issue, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of about $150. The lens itself is worth about $100, and the body as is probably going to be $75 to $100. So some of the times I'll pair it with the lens to sell it. Sometimes I'll separate them. It depends on how I can get the most value generally when I sell it. But I might go ahead and sell this with the kit. It's kind of a nifty little shooter, so I might just leave it alone. All right, next up. All right. Fourth camera, we've got a Kodak. This is our first point and shoot here. Kodak EasyShare M863, pretty common model that I pick up. Actually had a viewer from the last video that made a note in the comment section, which I highly recommend. If you have any of these cameras or have any questions or any feedback, or you've taken anywhere really cool and gotten some amazing photos, leave a comment down below. I try to respond to every one of them. They took hundreds of thousands of photos with their Kodak EasyShare for eBay listing. Just incredible. I had no idea the shutter could go that high on these. It uses the KLIC 7001 battery, which is a pretty thin little battery here. And let's go ahead and put that in. See if we've got power. No power. And I just used this battery on another Kodak, so I do know that it's working. So we've got a dead camera here, pretty common. Another issue that you'll see with Kodak is sensor problems and also LCD issues and lens glass scratches because that lens is really, really small. So unfortunately, no value here. If this was working in the red color, it would have a value of about $50 in the US marketplace, somewhere in there. So that's one of the reasons why I don't normally pick up Kodak unless they come bundled with other items, because it's about a 50-50 chance that it will be working. Next up, we've got a Canon PowersShot SX120. Very, very common. I was also working in camera sales at the time this camera was released by Canon. Really popular camera. I tend to see a lot of these, and their value's actually gone up recently. This looks like there might be a little bit of corrosion in there, and normally you're able to fix that with a little bit of gentle prying in case that battery metal post has been kind of stuck down, and then you can use a little bit of vinegar to clean it up. But let's go ahead and see if it's working. This was a camera that 5 or 6 years ago I would sell for $30 to $40, and in today's market, it's gone up in price quite a bit. No power on this one either, uh-oh. Striking out on the point and shoot cameras. So I'll do a little more troubleshooting on this one. It looks pretty clean, at least here. Internally, there was a little bit of corrosion, so I'll go ahead and see if I can get this one powering on and working. But no value on this one, unfortunately. Ooh! Next up, we've got the Canon PowersShot SX60. This is a big bridge camera with a 65x optical zoom. So whenever we turn it on, and hopefully it's working, this lens is gonna woo all the way out here like Pinocchio. And it takes good pictures. It's the bigger brother of the Canon PowersShot SX40 and SX50 bridge cameras. They also made an SX70, which came out just after this. It uses the Canon NB10L battery, and that is used in a number of different Canon models. Unfortunately, I've got one right here. Hopefully it's working. These longer zoom bridge cameras can develop some issues optically, and it's one of the reasons why if I'm able to test when I buy, I always prefer to test when I buy. I would say 90% of the cameras that I buy are used and tested. The minority, which I have here, that are in that Whole Foods bag, are untested, so I haven't had a chance to test them fully yet. And it's just a risky game, it's a gamble. And it's one that, because I bought so many cameras, I kind of know what to look for, that I'm able to make more educated guesses, but it's not something I would just stumble into and start buying large untested lots, as it seems to be really popular these days, because you might end up losing money. So we've got the battery in there. Let's go ahead and turn it on, see if it works. That looks great. We've got power. And let's move the lens and see if it's working. See what I'm talking about? I learned today that Nikon, I believe, just released the Nikon P1100, I believe. And that has a whopping 125 times optical zoom, almost double this. And this is really good. Like, you can get moonshots with this. I was reading something about how you could get galaxy shots with the Nikon. It has decent reviews. It's over $1,000. Very expensive, but really, really, really cool technology in these. The thing about that crazy range of optical zoom, even with this one at 65x, you really need a tripod or a steady surface to be shooting on. Otherwise, it's going to wobble and you're going to get images that don't turn out very good. Burst mode can help with that. Let's take a few photos here. Let me zoom in. I'm going to zoom in all the way to the other side of the room to a vase. So it does a good job. This looks optically pretty good. Sometimes with these longer zoom lenses that are built in this bridge camera, you can get issues with artifacts and dust in the sensor and other optical problems. So you definitely want to make sure and do your due diligence before you buy a camera like this. This one looks good. Value of the Canon PowersShot SX60 in today's market in the United States is going to be around $250. So still a decent amount of value in this. And it's a really fun camera to shoot with. It is a little beefier, so it's kind of, that's why they call it a bridge. It's a bridge between a point and shoot and a DSLR camera. It just has a fixed lens. Next up, Canon PowersShot SD780. Very slim pocket digicam. Excellent shape. Canon portable point and shoot cameras have skyrocketed in price, and to a point where I don't really sell a lot of them anymore. And it used to be my bread and butter. It's gotten that popular. The Y2K digicam craze created a new influx of buyers and then sellers as people found out they have value. So it's not one that I see all that often anymore, but when I can get my hands on one, I love it because they have a lot of value, and they're still capable of producing great picture quality in 2025. So let's get a battery. It's a Canon NB4L battery for this. Oh, this one's battery is a little swole. Let's turn it on. Got power, lens looks good. Tiny pinprick dent on the lens rim, barely visible. But the lens itself is good, and that's the most important part. Looks good. Oh yeah, nice and quiet zoom too. Cool. Let's try taking a couple pictures. Does have a tiny little viewfinder. Barely get your eye in there. Flash fires and looks good. This is what I would say is quality-wise in a very good condition, and it's in better condition than most Canon PowerShots that I sell. So that will affect the value in a good way. In its current condition, paired with a memory card, a USB cable, and a charger, you'd be looking at a value in the $150 to $200 range on this Canon PowerShot SD780. Available in a multitude of other colors. In pink, it will demand a premium, maybe $40, $50 more. That's a fun one. Okay, wow. Oldie but a goodie. Look at this. It's another one of those rotating models like that Nikon that I had in one of my last videos. If you haven't seen it, you can check it out. I try to produce a video like this every week, just to kind of give you some insight as to some of the cool finds that I see. Having a camera store, a virtual camera store. This is a Nikon Coolpix 5600, I think, 4500. So many different model numbers to keep track of in this old noggin here. It's really hard sometimes. It has an optional Nikon TCE2 teleconverter, which is just screw on. But let's test it without that first and make sure it's working. Uses CR2, 2CR5 or an ENL1 battery. So 2CR5 is a super common film camera battery. I'm gonna go grab one real quick. Hope everybody's doing good out there. It's been a hot summer here in Arizona. Very, very hot summer. We've got power. And we don't have any issues with the image sensor, it looks like, which is the #1 issue with this camera. As I said in my last video, because this camera swivels, the lens swivels from the body, it produces a lot of issues, potentially with a broken camera after 20 years that this camera was made. Everything looks good. It's a little bit noisy and it feels a little bit wobbly. That's just how this lens is. So you can either take a picture like this or rotate it and take a picture like this. And it all looks good. So pretty good shape. Some vintage cameras will have value, some won't. And this is one that if you pair it with this Nikon TCE2, it's gonna have a value of about $30 to $40 in today's market. Really, really fun to shoot with, and it's a nostalgic throwback and a look into the past when camera technology was really, really changing. Got a few more cameras to go through here. Oh yeah, Nikon Coolpix L22, point and shoot digital camera. This is a super popular camera. that was made about 12, 14 years ago, 12 megapixels. Pretty limited 3.6x optical, but it was made just to put some AA batteries in and throw it in your pocket or purse and walk around and pull it out before there was camera phones, or camera phones that were any good, and take a picture. So let's get some AA's. This used to be considered kind of not throwaway, but pretty inexpensive in the used camera market 4, 5, 6 years ago. This would sell for $30 to $40. Today, in working condition, the Nikon Coolpix L22 is actually going to sell for somewhere in this condition, which looks superb, about $100. And it is in really, really good shape. Biggest issues that I see with older Nikon Coolpix L series point and shoot cameras like this are actually going to be dead lines and LCD issues. Very, very common. The second most common thing that you see is going to be corrosion in the battery tray. We already talked about that. This one looks good. It's in really excellent shape. Fun little camera to shoot with, decent LCD size, no optical viewfinder or digital viewfinder, but it's a good one to shoot with. Okay, next up we've got a Canon PowersShot S2, really early bridge camera. It's got a 12x optical, which for its day was competing with like the Olympus C series, and pretty decent for a camera of this budget. I think when it was released it was like $200, $250, so not cheap back then. We're talking the equivalent of $300 to $400 today. Definitely not cheap. This one looks to be in good shape. But this is a camera that I don't really buy anymore. And if it's working, I'll be happy. If it's not, I think I know why. But let's get some AA batteries and see what's up. Okay, threw some AA's in there. And let's power it on. Looks to be physically in really quite excellent shape. Power. Power button's going to be on the top here by the toggle. Power's on. That's half the battle with this camera. We've got power, lens extends immediately. You go, oh, why is the LCD black? What's going on? Wait a second, when I look through the viewfinder, is my lens cap on? No, the screen is just black. And this camera is well known for an iris problem in the lens, and it results in what we call the black screen of death. Well known online for the Canon PowersShot S series. It's just that the picture will be black, and every picture you take with this camera will be black. So no value on this. I'm sure there's a fix you could do. You can do teardowns on almost everything, but here's the thing. Even though I buy and sell cameras pretty much for a living, I'm not super technical. And whenever I've got many screws and I'm having to follow a YouTube video on teardown and build back, I end up with a couple of screws left, and I go, where did those screws go? And then I put the camera back together and it's still not working, and I go, wait a second, I just wasted 2.5 hours of my life trying to fix this $40 camera. Is that worth it? For me, most of the time it's not. If you have a lot of time in your hands, or you're doing smaller quantity of cameras, then maybe it is for you. But unfortunately, no value on this one. Hopefully this next camera will be working. We've got a Sony DSC S60. Oh, memory card in there too. This uses memory stick. Not memory stick Pro Duo. You can see this is a bigger card than a memory stick Pro Duo. Memory stick. And sometimes the memory stick in these older cameras is worth more than the camera itself. Put some AA's in there. Sony DSC S90. Sorry, they also made an S40. This is also a 4.1 megapixel. We've got power, got a blue screen, so we're starting off well. Let's go to, it was in play, let's go to photo. Ooh, lens moves in and out nicely. That all looks really, really nice actually. Okay, let's try taking a picture. There we go. Sometimes that flash takes a little bit to engage. That looks good. We've got a little bit of battery door separation here. You can see it. So if that gets bad enough, sometimes the contact point's not good enough unless you put a little piece of metal or foil inside of there to make sure the contact point is good, and then you'll show low battery even though there's new batteries. Something to watch out for. pretty common with almost every brand that uses a specific type of door like this, a plastic door that is bigger. You'll see some separation on the side. It's just something that I would point out whenever I list this camera. But otherwise, it's working quite well. If you pair it with that memory card, you'd be looking at a value of about $40. The camera itself, $25 to $30. The memory stick is going to actually have a value of about $15 to $20. So don't sleep on those memory sticks. They can have some value. Neat. Okay, we've got 4 cameras left. Canon. Oh, actually, let's do this Panasonic. Panasonic FZ200 or FZ200 bridge camera. Good old Panny. I've always been a Lumix fan. But it is one of those brands that in the point and shoot side, I don't really buy that much anymore. A, because the prices have gotten astronomical, and B, because they have so much issues with sensor dust. So it'll look good. You'll turn on the camera, power's on. Oh, this one actually powered on. Ooh, what's that? But whenever you zoom the lens out, you get black spots in the pictures. So it makes the camera pretty much unusable. Now, there are a few things you can do to try to fix that, including vacuums. You can do a tear down to clean the sensor off, dust off the sensor. And sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. But it's just one of those things that adds a lot of time to the process. And because I sell a lot of cameras, I don't have time to spend hours fixing cameras normally. This one did power on. I didn't realize there was a battery in there. And the cool thing about these is they actually use Leica, a Leica lens, Leica glass, and I really love that partnership that Panasonic had with Leica. Almost all of their cameras for a pretty long period of time used Leica, and this one looks good. I'm not seeing any sensor issues, but I do see a spot on the LCD. So we've got a black splotch of dead pixels right there. So that's not going to affect the picture quality, it's just the display. And that is something that will affect the value a little bit, but as you can see, the lens is moving in and out fine. The cool thing about this camera, it was one of the first ones to have the dual zoom. We've got a side zoom and the top zoom. Makes it pretty handy. Let's try taking a picture. Flash is right up here. Oh yeah. Oh, we've got it set into burst. I really love shooting with this camera. I'm gonna take this one outside. My dog's out there right now. Get some pictures of that little rascal, and you'll see what this thing's capable of. Just a really, really delightful camera to shoot with. Not a huge amount of value. The DMC FZ series is gonna be model dependent upon what it's worth. The FZ200 is gonna be worth about $100 in today's market, in good shape, as this one is if you pair it with a charger and a memory card. So that is really, really neat. And color accuracy right out of the camera, pretty dang good. 3 cameras left. We have got a Samsung ST150F. Very, very slim, portable digital camera. Good old Sammy. They not only make TVs, they make decent cameras too. Widely produced, widely marketed for a specific period of time. This camera was released about 12 years ago. Uses the BP70 battery. There we go. I think I got one down here. No battery in there. Uses micro SD for memory. Got power. Lens glass looks good. Lens glass scratch is pretty common with this model. This one looks good. This was available in both blue, black, and white, I believe. Sensor dust is an issue, just like the Panasonics. So it's something that we're going to want to look for. This looks good. What I try to do is just do a zoom in and zoom out on a whitish background, and you'll get an idea of whether that's going to have some problems or not. And it looks good. Okay. Set to Smart Auto, and let's take a picture. Ding, 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 ding. There we go. All right. Value of this in the US market, about 125 bucks if you pair it with a charger and a micro SD card. Okay, 2 cameras left. Ooh. Fujifilm Finepix S9000. Let's go through this bad boy. Look at that. Got a focus by wire lens. So it looks like a DSLR, SLR camera lens, but it's not removable. It's built into the body. This is one of the first bridge cameras with a 10x optical. This was kind of a premium point-and-shoot camera when it was released. It's got RAW capability, it's got manual capability, and this particular copy is in really nice shape. It's got a lot of bells and whistles. It's got a fold-out screen. Look at that. It uses AA batteries, and it's got a slot for either compact flash, which it has in there, or XD. So dual memory slot. Let's pull out some batteries. This is probably the best condition S9000 that I've ever seen. And I've sold probably 30 or 40 of these over the years. So that's saying quite a bit. I'm crossing my fingers it's gonna work. This can have some sensor and LCD issues, but based on its condition, I think it'll work. Okay, let's power it on. No? Did I put the batteries in the right way? No. Always double check your batteries, friends. Oh, I did 2 in the wrong way. Man, losing my touch here. There we go. There we go. That looks good. We've got power. Oh yeah. Buttery smooth. Buttery smooth. Pop the flash. Get a picture. Oh yeah. Just something's very satisfying about being able to manually move the zoom range in this camera. Oh, crispy. Delightful. Delightful camera. What kind of USB port we got in there? Oh, standard camera USB. Universal USB port. Just a gem. This is really superb shape. Lens glass looks great. One of my favorite finds over the last couple weeks. Now, value-wise on this camera, we're not talking about something that is gonna make a ton of money. Normally, depending on the condition, you would see this sell for between $75 and $100 in today's market. Sometimes less, sometimes more. What a treat. Last camera. Got a Nikon here. Oh boy. Nikon Coolpix L340, which was probably the most popular bridge camera that Nikon ever sold. In terms of overall sheer volume, came out right in the sweet spot of when Nikon was dominating the bridge camera world, along with Canon. But it's got a crack on the LCD. So we've got a crack here, and just got to be pretty careful. You could probably put a screen protector on there to just protect it from cutting you. But let's just go ahead and see if this puppy works. Uses AA batteries. All that sort of condition-related stuff affects the value. So whenever I'm researching where to price things, I try to look at comparable or equivalents, and then look at my own sales history for anything that I've sold that has issues, and come up with a value that I think is fair. And guess what? If it doesn't sell, you can always lower your price. So we've got a couple issues. We've got even more of a problem with that battery door. Whoop, whoop. So that could cause a connection issue with that very last battery right there. So we'll see if this will even power on. Got a green light on the top. It does power on. Sometimes with an impact that breaks the LCD, it can actually damage the internal screen and cause some serious issues. We've got lens hunting, and it says turn the camera on and off, remove the lens cap. Guess what? There is no lens cap, camera. Why are you telling me to do that? So we've got an issue with the lens. What I see common with this camera is the lens housing right here. This metal piece actually bends really, really easily. And what can happen is it can actually bend and prevent the lens from extending. It gets stuck. So one of the fixes that you can do is actually either get vice grips with a cloth to go around it and bend it to a more circular shape. And this is kind of last resort if the camera's not working and you want it to work again. Or this is glued on. So you're actually able to physically remove this, again, by potentially heating it up first and getting it off. And that would allow the lens to move in and out appropriately. But because we have an issue with the tray, we've got a broken screen, and we've got a broken lens, this is a camera that I'm not even going to try to fix. As is for parts, it has a nominal value of about $20. So not much on this one. And that is our last camera. I can't take a picture with this one as I like to do on all my videos, but as always, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next one, and happy shooting.